Hi guys, Bran here, and welcome to another commentary video. Man, I've been putting out some videos lately that have not been saying the things that the killer community likes to say too much. And unfortunately, I feel like it's going to be another one of those videos. I don't know what I'm on lately. Like, I'm not playing more Survivor or anything, I promise. I'm not a Survivor main. I still mostly play Killer, and I enjoy Killer more than Survivor a lot. I don't know. I just feel like lately the Killer main community has been kind of like, I don't know, gripey, for lack of a better term. So I've been feeling like, you know, be like, hey, relax. Things aren't as bad as you think they are. I promise the world is not ending. And that's been interesting for a lot of people to hear that, you know, hey, pump the brakes. Don't catastrophize everything. We made that video last week. Please stop catastrophizing everything. It's a bad thing the DVD community does. So yeah, this is gonna be another one of those videos today because, like, this is another thing that I'm noticed that the killer community kind of catastrophizes. I don't think is particularly a terrifying and crazy thing that I'm going to back up with a lot of data and firm things, and that being the idea of adrenaline and hope being overpowered and being unfair perks. So yeah, let's go ahead and talk about it. So I have always recognized that adrenaline, specifically, hope not as much, but adrenaline has been one of the top 5 perks in the game and has been for basically the entire time it's existed because, well, the fact that you can get 90% through the match and get a boost at the end that completely undoes a health state and gives you a speed boost towards whatever exit gate you need to get to is incredibly strong and really, really good. It literally can be game changing. And that's, you know, really, really good and very, very impressive. And that's why I think it is and will remain to be one of the top 5 perks of the game. It's kind of like if you look at a perk like Unbreakable, where like the killer has a lot of pressure and then suddenly just somebody just stands up. They can just undo all that pressure. Hope by itself is not very much of a very, very strong or overpowered perk. It gives you a permanent speed boost while you're in the end game, specifically when all the gens are finished. And this really on its own is not that strong, but it does come in as a companion perk. A lot of other perks like Adrenaline itself, and obviously, as everybody keeps saying, made for this is what we keep hearing over and over. It is a good companion perk for other perks in the end game, and it basically makes it to where you are very, very, very incredibly hard to catch in the end game unless you happen to be playing a specific killer that has a very, very good M2 that's very, very anti-chase oriented. Yeah, so if you're playing somebody like say like Myers or like Trapper, you're going to be in a world of hurt in that end game because of the immense speed people are going to be getting. But my main feeling, and the feeling I've always had when looking at these perks, maybe not always had, because I remember I was a very, very jaded, biased, and survivor-hating killer main back when I first started, but, you know, a lot of people were, because they just didn't know any better. One of the things that I have always felt about these perks is that, realistically, I don't find them as irritating, because if I have lost the match, or I have gotten close to losing the match, so 90% of the match has gone in the survivor's way, these perks just serve as kind of like an extra boost, or reward, so to speak, an earned reward, just like how, you know, Pain Res is an earned reward for downing a hooking survivor and a scourge hook. Pop is an earned reward for downing a survivor and kicking the right gen. Addy and Hope are perks that are rewards for playing 90% of the game correctly as a little boost to, you know, kind of seal the deal and, you know, you seal the deal, like literally close the deal and, you know, call it a day, right? They're earned perks. So when I look at perks like Pain Res and Pop, I go, yes, good. But I also look at perks like Addy and Hope and I go, okay, good. Because in my brain, they're kind of like a similar philosophy of, yeah, this effect's really strong and likely game-changing, but they earned it somehow. They did something good that they're supposed to be doing and required effort that successfully led to them, you know, winning the match. So I've always been chill with these perks, but I've noticed lately, especially with Made for This stacking with Hope, that a lot of people are kind of taking it to endgame survivor perks again and kind of saying that they're unfair. And to that I say, and it's something that I've mentioned in a couple of my React videos, but I want to put it firmly here, is that realistically, you should not be hitting the end game that often as killer. You really should. The idea with killer is that you should have somebody dead by 2 gens, and if you don't have somebody dead by 2 gens, you should be working to make that happen as quick as possible before that end game hits, because if you don't kill somebody before all the gens are finished, the survivors have tons and tons of pressure on you. So you got to be making sure that you have somebody, at least one person dead by the end game, preferably at 2 or 1 gens. And for the most part, my games do not actually reach the end game. And I've actually done a lot of looking into my stats to make sure I could back this up. I chose 3 days at different time frames of 4-ish hour sessions of Dead by Daylight that I've played. That way it's not like, oh, you're just having a good weekend or you just got a good map rotation that one day. I play almost the entire roster, so it's not like I'm just sitting here playing Blight or something the entire time and winning. I'm going to show you the stats that I got, or tell you the stats I got, rather. And this is just in the sense to prove that, like, I'm just putting my money where my mouth is. I'm not just telling you, like, just get good, idiot. I'm telling you, like, these are the real life stats that I actually have from my days where I stream on twitch.tv/TheMrHeadache, where I do a killer session for like 4 hours. And these are my results, just to show you that these aren't improbable, that like these are possible. So day 1, I played a total of 17 games, and of all of those games, only 2 of them actually reached the end game. And even though those games reached the end game, none of them resulted in a loss. So I did not lose a single game that entire day, 4 hours of play, 17 games, and only 2 of my matches out of 17 hit the end game, which is something, because like most people, I feel like when I see most killer main like streamers or YouTubers or people down in the comments, they'll talk about how like they're so afraid of like Addy or like made for this Hope combo. It's like, it sounds like you're hitting the end game all the time. But at least in this first day, only 2 out of 17 games I actually reached the end game. Let's go ahead and take a look at day 2. Day 2, I played a total of 16 games of Dead by Daylight Killer, and 3 out of the 16 games reached the end game. And one of these I did lose. I remember that was Haddonfield. I was playing Huntress. I was playing a chill build, and they had gen perks. And yeah, I tried my best. Probably could have played meaner, but you know, you guys know how Haddonfield is. Even with an M2 killer, sometimes those houses are really obnoxious. So it do be that way. But the main thing here is how many of these games have reached endgame, and that's only 3 out of 16. Only 3 out of 16. And our final day, day 3, the final day that I looked at for this, I played a total of 14 games, total of 14 Dead by Daylight Killer games, and once again, only 2 out of 14 games ended up reaching the end game, and there were no losses on that day either. So even though those 2 matches did reach the end game, I did pull it through and get everybody down and on a hook in at least a 3K. So what are you supposed to take away from this? Well, the final result, doing all the math of like 2 out of 17, 3 out of 16, 2 out of 14, doing the average, all that, only 14% of my games would have been affected by Addy or Hope made for this, because, well, only 14% of my games actually reached the end game. So only a measly 14% of my games were actually reaching the end game. So when I hear people, you know, come out and they say like, Addy's broken, or I'm so scared of Made for this Hope as a combo and I'm terrified of it, realistically, there was only a possibility in 14% of my matches that I would actually even see any of these perk combos even happening. And that's how it should be. And that's because I play pretty tightly. I hold myself to that rule of like, hey, somebody should probably be dead at 2 gens. And if it's not, I need to make that happen. And that's how you should be ideally playing too. You probably shouldn't be heading the end game that often to even run into these perks. And if you are running into these perks and running in the game often, you need to tighten up your mid game a bit. Because I only have 14% of my games on average actually hit the end game. And your percentile should probably be something similar to that. And if it's not, you know, maybe you need to tighten up your gameplay a bit. But yeah, I've been seeing a lot of hate for these perks lately, and I never really subscribed to that feeling of like these perks are OP or need to be nerfed or they're bad. And I just kind of wanted to explain with some hard stats why I don't feel that way and why I don't think that other people should feel that way either. But I'm still interested to hear what you feel about Hope and Addy, and obviously, you know, the Hope made for this combo. Please let me know down in the comments below. And other than that, it's going to be it for today's video, friends. Thank you so much for watching. But that's going to be it for today. I do upload daily, though, so I will see you tomorrow. But if I do not, I will see you when I see you. Goodbye.